My first calendar year selling real estate, I made a whopping $13,000. Okay? That is not something people would put you on a stage to talk about. They wouldn't put you on a podcast and be like, excuse me, sir, how exactly did you make below the poverty line? And they wouldn't like coach you to teach him how to do that, correct? The problem is because I was getting the wrong data. I was being told things that wouldn't allow me to be in control, like sitting in open houses. I'm not in control, am I? I just gotta wait with the cookies, that's it. I was being told to put my name tag on things and smile at people at the grocery store. Am I in control there? No. So because I didn't have any control, and if control equals money, I had no money. That's exactly how that works. Okay? But then I got access to information that taught me how to regain control, what I should focus on, what lead sources that don't come with any referral fees attached. And then I went from $13,000 in a calendar year to doing 17 transactions to 50 to 75 to 89 to 100. I did 100 deals a year for 10 years in a row and did 200 deals a year twice. This is where you clap. Okay? So, and I believe, I really do, that everybody in this room with the right understanding of how control is being taken away and being equipped with the right strategies and where to stack skills on top of, you can do everything I've done in this business or Jose has done in this business in less time. Okay? Now, I've spent the last 17 years of my career, I sold over 2,000 properties, 18, who's counting? I don't know. Did 100 homes a year for 10 years in a row. I started a coaching company that was recently named the top coaching companies by Housing Wire in 2025 for those people that want to learn what to say and how to say it. I own part of an office. I sold it back, participated with EXP, and in 2 years and 9 months, I've attracted 400 agents to the Elite Builder Nation, coast to coast. I'm really going to set the frame for the remainder of the Do More Deals Summit. And then everybody's going to speak into that frame because everybody's an expert, okay, in those particular areas. And the frame that I'm going to set is very specifically, none of you guys are going to walk out of this room and not understand how control is being taken away from you. And it's aggressive. They are aggressively moving after taking control away from you, okay? And who they are and what they're doing. The second thing I'm going to go over with you is a very specific, clear blueprint. Not like, you can do it. That's like sending people into the battle with like a bow and arrow. Like, you're going to die. That's what's going to happen. A very specific blueprint and lead sources that you could be focused on. How many people have too many leads? Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay? Lead sources that you could be focused on that don't have any referral fees attached where you are completely in control. So that way you can do more deals in 2025 and in perpetuity moving forward. Who's up for this? Say aye. I'm sorry. We did not get on planes, spend time away from loved ones, get all dressed up this morning for that level of energy, okay? So high energy equals high income, guys. The energy that you bring to this information that we're going over together right now is the same energy that you're going to bring to it when you're reviewing it at home, okay? So I'm going to ask you again. Who's up for doing more deals in 2025, being highly profitable? That's what I'm talking about. Okay, Jose, I'm in the right room. Yeah. All right. So if you give up control of your revenue stream, you're actually extremely vulnerable. Now, why would you be vulnerable if you give up control of a revenue stream? Who wants to tell me?
You won't have money.
Huh? Yeah, that's one of the outcomes. You won't have money. The reason why you're very vulnerable is because whoever controls the lead controls how much it costs. Oh, that's a problem. Yes? Interesting. Okay? So, this is what actually happens during a real estate transaction. There's a race that's happening. Okay? And at the beginning of the race, somebody signs a contract. Yes? At the end of the race, there's a closing, and you go, yippee, and you do your stupid picture with a key. Which doesn't help anybody, by the way, okay? You're not positioning yourself as a guide to help anybody solve anybody's problems. But in between there, a bunch of people get paid, yes? The inspector gets paid, the appraiser gets paid, Home Depot gets paid, the insurance, all these people get paid, okay? Let me ask you guys a question. Before this race starts, where are consumers going, buyers and sellers? I'm sorry, louder? The internet, yes, that's where they're going first. And some very smart people realize that this is what's happening. Now, let me ask you a question. At the end of the race, once a closing happened, where are they going back to figure out what their house is worth and all that other stuff? I'm sorry, louder? Yeah, not you. So they're going back to the internet as well. Now, this creates a very interesting problem, and I need you to understand this is the mechanism that they're using to take control away from you. Yes or yes? 100%. Okay? So, as a result, two types of companies have sprung up. The first one, they actually want the buyers and sellers. Yeah? An example of that would be Redfin. They're an aggregator of data. They know people are looking before they call you. Yes? And then you know what they say to them? Hey, by the way, we have agents. Yeah. And we can get you pre-approved. Yeah, don't call that pesky agent. That's what they're doing. And another example of that would be Open Door. Hey, you don't need to put on the market. We'll just give you a offer. Yes? Remember, who's ever's in control? You see what I'm saying? This is how control is being taken away. Now, there's other companies, they're not interested in taking the buyer and seller themselves because they know it's too much work. They're like, no way, I don't want to do that. So what they do is they find the person online, they get them to fill out a form, and then they refer them to an agent to actually do the work. And they take what in return?
Fees.
I'm sorry, louder?
Fees.
And how much?
A lot.
Yeah, you see all the agents? A lot, too much. Yes? 30, 35, 40%. Yes? And by the way, their ultimate goal is the referral fee is entry into the transaction. Then do you know what they start to do? Anybody who's ever done business with them, what do they start to do?
They want you to use your title company.
They want you to use their title company, mortgage company, escrow, and all that stuff. Yes?
Yeah.
And if you don't, what do they threaten?
They won't give
No more weeds for widow owed you. Because you are not in
control.
Oh no, but we'll run to them. Oh yeah, please give me that widow weed. Yes?
Yes.
So you end up having to do more deals and make less? That's a problem. Is everybody clear on the mechanism how control is being taken away?
Yes.
Okay. So then what ends up happening, and I need you to understand something, these companies view you in one way. No, you guys are up here, you're like, yeah, my business. Do you know how they view you? You're an employee. Do you know how I know this? Because in 2021, we did $200,000 in commissions with one of those referral companies. And then do you know what they started to do? They wanted me to be on a call with them once a week. They wanted to check up with me on my lead follow-up. Wait a minute, let me get this straight. Somebody who used to be in real estate and wasn't good at it and now is a manager at your company is checking up with me who makes $1 million a year on my lead follow-up. How does that make sense? Yes?
Yes.
Then they started to give me extreme static. Oh yeah, you sent us 5 referral fees this month. Thank you for that, by the way. You didn't use our title company, our escrow, and our mortgage. Frowny face. And if you don't, by the way, subtly, we're going to take those widow weeds away. So then what do? Okay, fine, you need me to be on that stupid call with that stupid person? Sure, I'll do it. Guys, if you're not in control, you don't make that much? Money. Okay, I'm just checking. I just want to make sure you tracking?
Yep. Yes.
Okay. And this is how they view you. They definitely view you as an employee, 100%. So you have a choice. Agents are faced with a choice today. They can either be on a team or they can be on their own. When we look at this choice, let's see what that ends up looking like in practice. You ever seen a mama bird feed a baby bird? Yeah. You know what the mama bird does? They go out and hunt, kill the worm, and then they spit it in the baby bird's mouth. Who's in control there? The mama bird. What do we do as agents to these lead sources like this? Oh, yes?
Yes.
So look, where does the lead come from? It's coming from all of those sources on the internet, yes? That come with referral fees. You have a split with them, and how much money do you end up making? I'm sorry, I'm gonna say it again. How much money do you end up making?
Less.
Nothing. You make a referral fee for doing all the work. So the agent ends up keeping very little because they are not in control. Or you could be an individual agent. You're doing your own thing, and you're still messing around with these providers. Yeah? You end up working basically like an employee for them. How fast do they want to call those people back? Do they measure you with the speed? What happens if you, and because I know you've done business with them, Deirdre, are they monitoring the speed with which you call them back? Yes. Do they give you static if it slows down? Do they care if you were with your kids at a soccer game? It's a choice. Don't get mad at them. Yes? It's just a game. Don't get mad. If you could take control, you would. Now here's the third option. Well, before we get to the third option, the problem with this one is, anybody besides me hear about that TCP rule change thing? Yeah. If you're like me, most people when it first came out, you're like, what is that? I don't know what that means. Yeah? Okay. Well, essentially, we've been given a 11-month now grace period. So if you mess around with these lead providers, it's about to radically change in 11 months. The reason is because the rules have changed. They used to be able to get somebody to click on a website and they can sell that lead to an unlimited amount of agents. Yeah? How many people besides me have ever dealt with them and they're like, yeah, we only give it to 3 agents, and you call the person, we've had 45 phone calls. Yes? That's because of this rule change, you see? Well, you know what the rule change now says? You can only give it to one person. And you have to tell them who it is. So if you're this lead provider and you're spreading the cost of the leads over a bunch of agents, 10, 20, 30, 40 agents, what happens when you have to give only one agent the cost? What happens to the cost of lead? Oh, and does it go up a little bit or a lot? A lot, team. And you'll get mad, you'll blame the weather, you'll blame the environment, you'll blame the administration, but what's the real reason you are not in?
Control.
That's it. And this is what's happening, okay? So that TCP, that's the old model, it's one to many, and new, it's gonna be one to one. So the cost of lead is gonna go up dramatically. Okay, so here's what an agent in control looks like. You like that? ChatGPT is dope. The first one that came back, it was like a soft agent. I'm like, nah, it needs to be like Leonidas. Okay. The agent in control, they have lead sources and the skills, by the way, to convert those lead sources. Do any of these have referral fees attached to them?
No.
Would any of these put you in control?
Yes.
Does it require you learn new things?
Yes.
Do you like that?
Yes.
No. You don't. You do. In fact, you detest it. But listen to me. Leaders anticipate, everybody else reacts. What I'm giving you is an anticipation of what's coming. And the cool thing is it's on video. So then a year from now, you're like, but nobody told me. I'm like, excuse me. Sure did. You didn't listen. So that's what an agent in control looks like. Okay? They have control of lead sources. So that's what's happening. That's how control is being taken away. So now we're going to shift into, okay, what do I need to do about it, right? How can I regain control? In order to do that, first I need to understand the context of the market. So, I was playful. I was like, hey, 2023, 2024 is a little bit of challenging time, so real estate. Well, this graph shows us why. Transaction volume year over year dropped 28%. In where Jose's from, units went down 50%. Everybody's like, hashtag thriving. It's like, no, you're not. You're broke. The ones laughing hardest have done that. That's why. So this is reality. Now, when I tell people this, you know what they say to me? Well, you're being really negative. And I'm like, that's dumb. Okay? Don't confuse negativity just because you don't like what's being said with what's true. Yeah? Well, you need to think positive, Aaron. No. You need an accurate assessment, okay? If we were Navy SEALs and I'm like, there's a guy over there that's trying to kill us, I'm like, well, we need to think really positive about the situation. No. I want a tactical and precise plan, right? Josh knows. I need a tactical, precise plan to go in and do what we need to do. Yes?
Yes.
Okay. So this is the context. So what do we need to do about this? So if there's less opportunities in the marketplace, which we've all agreed that's what's true, there's only 4 ways to grow a business, guys. The first way is to increase leads, yeah? And we're going to talk about where you could be finding leads that are actually converting. Because when you go from 6.5 million to 3.9, and 90% of people have mortgages less than 6%, and 60% of people have mortgages less than 4%, who's selling? Only people that have to. But the second way to increase your business is conversion. Because if there's less opportunities, what does that mean about listing appointments? Are they more valuable? Yes. If you are winging it, that is dumb. If you're like, oh my God, Josh, you have a puppy, I have a puppy, yay, we should be friends, you should listen with me, that's stupid. In our next episode, that's a weight loss program, because you'll starve to death. You need to get a real job that has benefits. I'm role playing twice a day, 6 days a week, and I'm handwriting out stuff. So I'm practicing an hour and a half a day, 6 days a week. People in my office be like, what are you doing? That's silly, ha ha ha. I never see you out anywhere. I'm like, I never see you at the bank. So one of the things we need to be doing to become that agent that's in control is we need to recognize I can either survive in the jungle or I can live in the zoo. What I showed you with all those lead sources, that's the zoo. Yeah, I know it's dope. Andrew was like, yo, that's dope. But what do we know about animals that are in the zoo? How do they behave? Sorry? Docile. What else do we know about animals in the zoo? They wait to be fed. What else? They're miserable and they have no freedom and they're also no longer dangerous. They never reach their full potential. They forgot what it is to be free. Yes? Or I can survive in the jungle. What do we notice about the animals in the jungle? I'm sorry, they're independent. What else? Free. They're all predators. They hunt. Hey, by the way, in nature, who gets to eat? The ones who need it?
No. The ones who deserve it.
The ones who deserve it get to eat because they hunt every day. So when you're like, I took 3 weeks off and I went to the Bahamas and then, I didn't do anything in January and I'm so bummed I have no deals right now. Stop it. It's not the way nature works. This is what we're faced with, guys, is either surviving in the jungle or living in the zoo. And I don't know about you, in the short amount of time you've gotten to know me, I'm not made for the zoo. And I don't believe you are either. Now, you will have people in your life that try to drag you into the zoo. Do you know what they'll say to you? That sounds a little whiskey. I don't know, that course is a little bit of money. It could be a scam. You ever notice that people that are broke think everything's a scam? People will try to drag you into the zoo, yes? They'll be like, hey, you need to get a real job that has benefits. You guys are, look, you notice the nervous laughter? Because you've heard this over and you think that doesn't have an effect on your thinking? 1,000,000,000,000,000% it does. I think you guys want to be in the jungle with me, yes?
Yes.
Okay, good. So here's how you get in the jungle. What do I need to survive in this environment? Because this environment is rough. Yeah, it's wild. Yeah, but guess what? So are you.
Yeah.
You know what we forget? Our ancestors, bro, they ran away from bears and tigers and lions and stalked by disease. And we're like, oh my God, you have hand sanitizer? Like, you forget that DNA is inside of you. Do you know the only way it comes out? If you step into the jungle. It's the only way it comes out, but it's there, I promise. Because they figured it out, otherwise you wouldn't be here. Okay, so what do I need to do to survive in the jungle? The first thing is I need to increase my skill set, because remember, conversion is one of the ways to build a business, yes? Increase leads, which we'll talk about in a moment, but then I need to increase conversion, because if there's less listing, anybody notice that there's less listing opportunities?
Yes.
So are each one of them more valuable?
Yes.
Yes. So if you're winging it, that is dumb, not mature, okay? It's immature. So when Jose came to me, right, years ago, and he heard me on a recording, like role-playing, he recognized, hey, this conversion thing is like important. And me and him had a conversation where I was like, hey, bro, how much are you practicing? And he puffed out his chest. He was like, I practice 3 days a week. And I think that's great. All right, that's cool. And then I did a little bit of math with him. And I said, let's say, because I'm giving a lot of grace. Well, let me ask you a question. How many people here role play and practice every single day, 5-6 days a week? That's amazing to me, because that means everybody else is independently wealthy. Everybody else makes too much money. Is that what it is? Interesting. Okay. Now, we're going into the jungle, yes?
Yes.
To go into the jungle without hunting skills is dumb. You will get eaten up. That's what'll happen. Yeah? Okay. So when I was talking to Jose, I was like, hey, bro, check this out. He was role-playing for 30 minutes a day, 3 times a week. Let's do the math on that. That's an hour and a half a week. Yes? Okay. And then when you do it out, he was practicing like an hour and a half a week times 4 is maybe 6 hours a month, like roughly. That's that math, right? And I was like, look, what I'm doing is I'm role-playing twice a day, 6 days a week, and I'm handwriting out stuff. So I'm practicing an hour and a half a day, 6 days a week. When you multiply that out, that's 450 hours compared to like 60, 70 hours. Let me ask you a question. Who will be a more skilled hunter? Is that an ego thing?
No.
It's just a time thing. That's it. Time on task. That's all it is. Yes?
Yes.
Has nothing to do with ego, guys. And when he realized that, to his credit, he started to do it, and now he's been the #1 listing agent in Ventura County for 7 years in a row. See, I think what's really interesting, I think the reason why we don't actually get what we want is for 2 reasons. Either we don't understand what's required, or when we're told what's required, deep down, we don't want to do it. Yeah? I think that's very true. So what you can see here is look at the compounding effect over 10 years, right? It starts off 1 year, 2 years, but then as time progresses, and I keep going at a clip at 500 hours a year, and he's going at a clip at 100 hours, what happens as time progresses? It gets enormous, yeah? How many people have been on those role play calls that me and Jose do? Yeah, are they pretty fire? Yeah. How do you think we're able to do that? Practice. Yeah, a nauseating, disgusting, insane amount of practice. And everybody will make fun of you. People in my office will be like, what are you doing? That's silly, ha ha ha. I never see you out anywhere. I'm like, I never see you at the bank. Yeah. So if you want to survive in the jungle, guys, I'm telling you, and you want to take this grace period that you have of a year before you have to go to some vehicle, whether that's a team or these lead sources, and go like this, please feed me so I can make very little money. You must increase your skill. Now, here's the plan that you can use to actually do it. Get into a role play group, guys. Role play and practice on a regular basis. Plumbers have their tools, do they?
Yes.
Physicians have tools, yes?
Yes.
What is our tool? What to say and how to say it. So if you don't have a sharp tool, that means you're showing up for the job, and is it getting fixed? Nope. And you walk out and they say, hey, I want to think about it. And you're like, okay, talk to me later. And then you go back to your significant other, like, I think I got it. Oh man, I think, they really liked me. Oh gosh, like they went to this school and I went to this school too. And then you get a call. It says, hey bro, we really appreciated you coming out. How many people have got that disgusting call before? Hey, you were great. I mean, really great. We've decided to go with somebody else. You're our second choice though. So if anything happens, we're gonna call you. And you wanna rip their throat out of their mouth, right? 100%. Why is that happening though? Because I'm not skilled, bro. I had this conversation with my son. So he tried out for a soccer team, right? And the school that he goes to here in Florida, St. Thomas, they're like the #1 school for sports in the state. 133 national championships, okay? He got an delusional level of self-confidence from me. So he thinks he's Messi. And in rec, he kind of is. He's pretty good. He's the guy that scores all the time. Like, he's him, right? He scored the goal in the championship that won. Yay. He tries out for the team. And guess what happens? He doesn't make it. So you know what he says to me? We're in the car. I'm like, hey, how'd it go? He's like, yeah, I didn't make it. I was robbed. I said, what do you mean? He's like, it's political. So I said, well, I appreciate that. And what I'm aware of is our minds, our egos are built to protect ourselves. Yeah? And what I told him is you need an accurate assessment of reality in order to actually get a good outcome. You have to see what's true, because then and only then can you make decisions in accordance with what's true, and then you'll get what you want. Yeah? I think the highest measure of intelligence is just getting what you want. Whatever that is. So I told him there's 3 places that you can look to get an accurate assessment of reality. You want to look to systems that give immediate feedback. So the first system that gives you immediate feedback is nature. Yeah? So let's say we're having a conversation. Ben's like, I don't think gravity's real. I'm like, great, go jump off a cliff. Yeah? He's gonna get immediate feedback that what? He was wrong. Yes? Yes. Second place to get immediate feedback is capital markets. Me and Jose had this conversation with somebody. We're on a role play call. He's like, hey guys, my listing presentation is airtight. It's dialed in. We were like, how many listings do you take a year? He's like, 10. I'm like, the results aren't telling me that that's accurate. Yes? But listen to me. We live in a world where we want everybody to feel good, so we don't tell them the truth. You feel the energy right now? We live in a world where we want everybody to feel good, and we don't tell them the truth. So would I be doing my son a service if I let him say, they robbed me? Because what is he going to do his whole life? They robbed me. It's political. It's somebody else's fault. Yeah? So what I said to him is like, look, dude, here's what's true. You weren't good enough. Now, some people might get, you said that to your son? I didn't tell him he wasn't good in the eyes of God. I said, you for what you were doing, you weren't good enough. And you have to do more. You know, he said to me, no, but I did summer camps and I played soccer in the summer camps. I said, yeah, I didn't say you didn't do anything. What I said is what you were doing isn't enough. Because if you want to play at that level, you have to say no to video games and touch a ball every day. Yelling at screens like Jinxie. What? Anybody who's old has no idea who Jinxie is, but if you're young and have a teenage son, you know who Jinxie is. Like, you have to say no to that. Or every time I walk by his door, hey, you want to go to the gym? Nope, I'm good. Okay. And what I told him is, look, you have to make a decision, and it's only your decision. I'll love you no matter what. Okay? I will. You have to decide if you're going to do the extra, because you've been able to get by on your talent and on your intellect until right now in sports and in academics. And most people in life just do what?
Enough.
Ask yourself a question. In your skill set, if you were trying out for that team based on what you're doing, would you make the team? She's like, I don't like it, but no. No, you wouldn't. Yeah? But then we're like, #thriving. Guys, you're in the jungle. Do you understand that? There's lions and bears and tigers, oh my. And those people, by the way, that are taking all your money away, they're happy to do it. You know what they're saying to you? Hey, just so you know, there was all this money on the table. I'm going to take 40%. Deal with it. You're like, but it's less money for me. They're like, I don't care. Because that's the way the jungle works, yes? Okay, chant scripts. I used to sit in a room and do this. You ready? Hi, I was calling about the homeless for sale by the industry. Is this the owner? Great. My name's Aaron, I'm a local real estate agent. I'm sure you figured out by now your home came off the market as aspired listing. I was calling 5 times as fast as I could, 10 times actually, as fast as I could out loud. That, FSBOs, pre-qual, and the listing presentation one time, as fast as I could. There's 20,000 agents, probably way less now. Let's say there's like 15,000 agents in the multiple listing service in this county. There's 100 that do more than 20 million in volume. Despite what you see on Instagram. Looks like everybody's balling. They're not. So imagine there's 100 people, there's 15,000 people competing for 100 jobs. Does your practice schedule reflect the fact that you want one of those jobs doing 20 million in volume? If the answer is no, you got to rethink that. Look, sounds like, woo. I don't know, bro. Chanting scripts, writing out listing presentations. I would bring my wife into the room, be like, yo, let's role play. Not that type of role play. But I'd be like, I'm an agent. No, I'm just, so, but I would go through the listing presentation. I would record it. Yeah, that's somebody who's committed to being what? In control. Does that make sense? Guys, it's available to all of us. We just have to make the decision. Okay, write out listing presentations and find a guide. I don't care if it's me, preferably me, but me, Jose, whoever, I don't care who it is. Find somebody that has a demonstrated track record of producing the outcome that you want. Guys, we live in a world where you don't have to be competent to be famous. Do you know the problem that creates for all of you? You end up following people that have no idea what they're doing. You know how many times I've seen people put people on a stage to talk about media and they have like 100 followers, 1,000 followers? Like, why are they talking about it? You know what the criteria should be? How much money do you make from media? That should be the criteria. But then you go up there and you're like, oh my God, it's so nice to meet you. It's great, great, great. They don't know what they're talking about. So find a guide, somebody who has a demonstrated track record, right? And then plug in, okay? We have a role play group if you want to get involved. So this is the first thing you got to do. Next thing I got to do is I got to get clear on what leads will allow me to be in control, okay? And what's actually working right now. Because you know what I've noticed? in the traditional like gurus of real estate, they talk about the four horsemen all the time. Expireds, FSBOs, canceleds, just listed, just sold, sphere of influence. That's it. And then you know what they do? And you guys are like, oh, yeah. Every year, they just recycle them. Like, oh my God, expired. You're like, oh my God, it's expires? Past clients. Oh, wait, it's past clients? And it's for 2 decades, 3 decades, 4 decades. They're just talking about the same stuff all the time. Hey, let me ask you a question. How many people have been on the planet Earth long enough to know that in the last 20, 30 years, things have changed radically? Do you know that YouTube is now 10% of all TV screen time? TVs! I had to explain to my son what Blockbuster was. He's like, wait a minute, you had to go to a store? And you had to bring it back? Yeah, everybody knows, right? And then remember, you'd be like, hey, when's the Blockbuster due? No! And you have to like run, yeah? Yeah, I know it's a day late, but please. They're like, nope, it's $5. So things have changed radically, right? So what's actually working? And you need to make data-driven decisions around lead sources, guys. Most of us don't make any data-driven decisions at all. You know what we're making? We're taking somebody's word for it, who either hasn't ever sold real estate, oh my God, or they did a long time ago. Yes? So data-driven means like what's actually working right now. So remember we talked about the context of the market, which is there are less transactions, yes? 90% of people have mortgages less than 6%, and 60% have mortgages less than 4%, so we need to find who's doing business. Are you tracking?
Yes.
Okay. In our next episode, did you know that we have record numbers of credit card debt? We're in heaven's waiting room in Florida. We have the largest elderly population in the country, okay? Whoever adds more value wins. Agents, because we've been kind of operating in this antiquated way, the only thing we think about is helping you to list and sell, yes? Like buy and sell. That's it. But the future of real estate, agents won't just understand retail, they'll understand wholesale, they'll understand sub 2. Because you're not providing that menu of options, you know what they're doing? They're going to Open Door. We've just determined that the only people that are going to do business have to, yes? So those would be life events. What are examples of life events? Hey, just so you know, right now, we're in heaven's waiting room in Florida. We have the largest elderly population in the country, okay? Divorce, 50% of it happens, and a lot of times they have real property, yes? I hate your guts and want to sell this house right away, yeah. Pre-foreclosures, financial problems, yes? I live in a 1-bedroom and we have 3 kids, yeah. My favorite is probate or death. You notice the energy in the room? Did you know that 65% of probate properties are free and clear? How motivated do you think they are to sell their house? Exceptionally motivated, okay? Now, there is a small population, maybe 20% that they keep it and do something else with it, but everybody else wants to sell it. And they want to sell it? Now. I'm sorry, when?
Now.
Interesting. You mean I don't have to talk to them for like 10 months? And take them out to coffee and be like, oh, we're friends, you're going to list it with me, right? And then they list it with somebody else. Yeah, people laugh, have done that. That's what's happened, right? So this is a fantastic source. Now, here's what's really dope about this source, is I taught everything I knew about this source to somebody that's in this room. Where's Heath? Where's he at? There he is, right there, guy standing up. So Heath was a part-time agent, okay? Full-time cop. Full-time, everybody knows what full-time means? Yeah, it's primary vocation. We actually met each other, our sons played baseball together a long time ago. And he wanted to get into real estate, and one of his buddies said, yo, you need to call Aaron. So he calls me out of the blue. I hadn't talked to him in a long time. He's like, yo, I'm thinking about getting into real estate. I'm like, great. He decided he partnered with us, and he was actually on my team, like, here in South Florida. And I knew that I wanted to like share this particular skill set with him. So I taught him everything that I knew about probate. What to say and how to say it, where to get the leads, where to get the contact information, how to create urgency, how to get contracts signed, understanding the legal aspect of probate. You did how many deals last year?
Last year was 26.
As a part-time agent, and how many of those were probate?
Like 23 of them.
Did you hear what he just said? I'm sorry, that's what? Crazy! But no, guess what? It's not, because we live in heavens. Did you know what's the largest cohort, meaning group of individuals, the second largest group of individuals, like generation of people, behind millennials? And what's their average age?
65.
Huh. And the average human lives to be how old?
75.
Huh. So wait. Is that going to be a fantastic lead source moving forward for the next 10, 15 years? 100%. And by the way, they need your help because you know who calls them? Investors. And what do investors want to do? Rob it from them, steal it from them. And no disrespect for any investors in the room, okay? Yeah.
Now that I'm not part-time,
Yeah.
I've taken 6 so far.
Yeah.
And this morning I just set a record. I got a listing agreement back for a 2.8.
2.8 million bucks. Yeah. Hey. So as you're going down this path of regaining control, I would propose or suggest to you, this is a fantastic source. That QR code takes you to a free, let me say it again, free YouTube video where I'm talking about how to do this. Highly recommend that you look into that source. The next thing, lead source, that we know is working, and there's multiple examples of in the room of it working. So in 2008, how many people here were selling real estate in 2008? Okay, a little bit of the room, maybe like 20%. So the rest of you have no idea what I'm talking about. In 2008, who was the distressed seller? What was causing the distress? Let's start with the emotion. What emotion was causing the distress? Greed. And everybody thought they were a real estate genius. Right? They were buying properties with exotic mortgage products that had adjustable rates, thinking that real estate always goes up in double digits, which it doesn't. Then those rates adjusted and they had no money and they dumped them on the market in high volume. Supply went up, demand went down. When I was selling real estate down here, half of everything on the market was a foreclosure or short sale. Half. Prices went down 20, 30% per year. I was slanging little condos down here for like $30,000. Okay? So who's the distressed seller of 2025? Remember, we want to find people that have to sell, yes? Who's the distressed seller of 2025? They can't afford it. Well, let me ask you a question. Did you know that we have record numbers of credit card debt in the country right now? Do you know that we have record numbers of car loan debt in the country right now? And we also have record numbers of educational debt. And we've experienced 4 or 5 years of pretty aggressive inflation. Don't believe you if they tell you otherwise. Okay, I brought my kids to go get smoothies the other day. It was $50. That's because you print too much money. That's why that happens. I know, it's not happy, but it's true. So because they've experienced this, you know who the distressed seller is? People who can't pay their bills. That's why cash offer programs are working swimmingly, fantastically well. Yes? So these big platforms, remember we talked about that internet thing? They're finding people on the internet before you get to them. And then they either want the clients themselves, so they want a referral fee. Well, the other thing that they noticed is cash offer programs is a wonderful way to generate leads. So they all have a cash offer program, don't they? Yeah? You know what else they know? They know statistically over only 2 to 5% of the time will somebody take the cash offer because it's too low. But then do you know what they end up with? A seller lead that they sell to you to 35%.
Oh, no.
Yay! And we gobble it up. So wouldn't it make logical sense that I be doing the same thing for myself? Yes. So there's these cash offer programs, and there's various different ways you can do it. We're actually going to have somebody speak to you who has a company that is called Motivated Seller Leads that finds people that raise their hand and say they want a cash offer. Would that be helpful in this environment? Because then you can have a conversation with them, you can pre-qualify them, and if it's a listing, guess what? Go list it. If they want an offer, guess what? Buy it. Or sell it to an investor and make money. Does that make sense? Yes. We need lead sources from places that are actually producing outcomes. So I believe that whoever adds more value wins. So agents, because we've been kind of operating in this antiquated way, the only thing we think about is helping you to list and sell. Yes? Like buy and sell. That's it. We have no other options at our disposal. So somebody tells you as an agent you want a cash offer, what do? You're like, can't help you. I believe that the future of real estate is not, agents won't just understand retail, they'll understand wholesale, they'll understand sub-2, they'll understand creative finance, they'll be able to put all different types of deals together. They'll put a menu of options in front of you, and you know what they'll say? I don't care which one you choose. Because you're not providing that menu of options, you know what they're doing? They're going to Open Door. They're going to other options. You know what I say to those guys? No. It should be staying with you, yes? But why isn't it? Because I'm not willing to learn something. That's right. For that reason, we have the one and only Pace Morby coming tomorrow. He's the #1 creative finance book in the country right now. He is the king of creative finance. He's going to be in this room teaching you how to put creative finance deals together. I'm sorry, would that be helpful to help you do more deals in 2025? 100%. The last thing that I know for a fact is working is new construction. There's a reason why it's working though, okay? Well, here's what it is. The average, the median price of a new construction home is actually the same as a resale property. So you get a brand new product for the same? Not only that, those transactions on average have 5% concessions, which the buyer can use to buy down. So check this out. Not only do you get a newer property for the same price, but because the cost of money is less, it's actually cheaper. It's become one of the only affordable ways to buy a house, guys. We know that's working, 100%. If he's here, there he is, Esteban. So I actually coach Esteban, and he's down here in South Florida. He does a lot. How many deals did you do last year? 80, 90? Yeah, something like that. So we're on a call one day, and I'm like, hey, bro, this new construction thing, you're doing it well. Let's do a webinar. He's like, what? That sounds crazy. Yeah, send an email to all your database. Say, hey, I'm doing a webinar on how to buy a home with a 4% interest rate. I'd love for you to attend. How many people showed up to that webinar? 65. And one of those 65 did what? Bought right away. And what was the price?
Just under 800 at a 5%.
So you made how much money? He's like, I don't know, it's a lot, I forgot.
It's a lot.
Made like 40 grand, bro, because he's going where deals are being done, yes? So do you see how truth is on a spectrum? Two things can be true at the same time. Yeah? It's not that for sale by owners, cancels, and expires aren't good sources. It's just that there's something that's more true right now. My experience is if you do what's easy, your life becomes hard. If you do what's hard, your life becomes easy. If you do what's easy, you end up in the zoo. You're fed, you're told what to do, you don't have any freedom. If you do what's hard, your life becomes easy. And it's not the strongest of the species that survives, nor is it the most intelligent. It's the ones that are the most adaptable to actually changing, guys. Those are the ones that continue to thrive. I really do believe with all these changes for agents who get this and implement what I just said, you will make more money than was ever possible before. Okay? Let's go. Leo started off as a real estate agent. He actually scaled the cash offer program around the country. He became the #1 singular uno agent in the whole entire Keller Williams franchise out of 100,000 plus agents.